tonight's show because I'm going to be in a learning mode, Joe. With the why don't you
A
introduce
learning
what we're going to
mode?
be doing?
Well, let's talk about tonight's show. Why don't we do that? We don't have to talk about us in the community. I think we have everything kind of covered there. Tonight we're going to meet a local woman by the name of Julie Walker from the PeytonWalker Foundation, which is one of the nation's prominent heart screening advocates and leaders in providing CPR and AED training and equipment donations. They educate parents and students about the prevalence of sudden cardiac arrest and the importance of electrocardiogram training for our youth. Okay, so this is Julie. She's been with us before. I want to say that. I think this might be at least her third time. She was with us with Lingelstown Gazette Sports because a lot of what she does is related to sports, because that's where she kind of finds her audience, I guess. But it's not all sports with her, and that's why we're having her on this show. Some of the stuff sports related, some of it isn't. And she brought a friend, Bill, who we met backstage in the green room. But we're gonna, for the sake of the show here, we're gonna act like we didn't meet her so she can introduce herself. Okay, that's what you do in TV. This isn't TV. It's just kind of local internet stuff. But we want to bring Bella in for the first time once again. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right. So here they are. We're going to bring them in. There's Julie Walker. And there's Bella. Is it Reading?
Roding.
I had two chances and I got it wrong. Bella Roding, Julie Walker. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us. Again, Julie, for you, and for the first time, Bella. And Julie, where did you find Bella? She's a very nice young lady. We met her before the show, and she's very pleasant.
Well, I'm so pleased that Bella agreed to join us tonight. Over the years, as you mentioned, we have provided almost 5,500 free heart screenings for students throughout central Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. Bella attended one of our former heart screenings, and we actually identified a heart issue in Bella. And follow-up care was required, and they identified an issue. And so we've been connected with Bella. She's been a great advocate, a great volunteer for the foundation, and thought she'd be a really good voice for people to hear her story tonight and really hopefully inspire other people to follow what she has done. You know, she got her heart screened, found there was an issue, and is moving forward in a great way. So wanted her to be part of the story for this evening.
So what an ideal person to have kind of, flanking you or working beside you is somebody that used, I guess, if we want to call it your services or, use what you do for the community. She is a frontline example of how this can help somebody, right?
Absolutely. She's definitely one of our poster child.
Poster child. That's such a better way of putting it. So Bella, look at that smile on Bella. Bella, we're going to get to you in your story, okay?
Okay.
But we want to let people know, just to kind of get rid of the confusion. We have Julie Walker on. This is the PeytonWalker Foundation. Julie, let's just out of the gate ask you who is PeytonWalker and how did she become the namesake of your foundation?
Okay, so for those of you who aren't familiar with our story, Peyton was a 2012 graduate of Trinity High School. And from there, she left and went to King's College up in Wilkes-Barre. She wanted to be a physician assistant, so she was in the PA program up there. In November of 2013, we got the worst phone call that any parent could ever imagine getting, that our daughter had just been taken to the emergency department. And we found out that we had lost our daughter that day without warning because of sudden cardiac arrest. Peyton wanted to work in healthcare. She was a fun-loving, energetic, outgoing, great sense of humor, just a magnet for people to hang out with. Just the light of the room. Always had great stories to share. And, she wanted to work in healthcare. So we thought, well, what better way to really try to impact and honor her legacy than by starting the PeytonWalker Foundation. And really, it's very clear cut and simple. The mission of the foundation is to increase awareness and survival rates of sudden cardiac arrest. So very clear cut. So you'll see, we do a phenomenal job educating the community about sudden cardiac arrest, and then also trying to figure out how can we increase survivability. And that's through our heart screenings, through CPR training, through AED donations. So it's been an incredible 11 years, the journey that we've been on. And I couldn't be more proud of the legacy that we've built in Peyton's name.
And it does feel to me like it's building, like it's growing, like it's gathering momentum. You're placing more AED machines and getting more people involved. Do you recall, Julie, the day you decided that you would use your loss of your daughter as kind of a call to arms, or a reason to save others from the same fate? I mean, did it take a week, a month, a year? When did you decide, you know what, I'm not going to let this happen to the next person?
Well, I mean, as you can imagine, the first few weeks you're completely numb and just, all you can do is breathe. That's the only way you can survive, is just breathe. And that's as much as you can do. But honestly, 5 weeks after we lost Peyton,
wow.
I had the bag of clothes that she was wearing the day she died. The emergency room department handed me that bag as we left the hospital that day. And 5 weeks later, I opened it up, and I tell this story all the time, and it still gives me goosebumps. When I pulled out the shirt that Peyton was wearing the day she died, it was a red long sleeve t-shirt, and in white letters on that t-shirt, it said, "What we do for ourselves dies with us. What we do for others and the world remains and is immortal." And I was telling this story to somebody else today. I'm like, Peyton's the middle child, so always had to have the last word, just that middle child complex. Right. And I'm like, okay, you win. I mean, my gosh, what a message, like her soul and her spirit knew this is it. This is the message that I'm leaving today. Please do something with my loss. And make lives better for others. So that was the motivation for us. We're like, wow, what can we do to spare other families from the devastating heartache that we live with? And it really, I honestly knew nothing about running a nonprofit, nothing about working in the healthcare industry. So this has been a learning process. We're really building the plane as we were flying, and we've been so blessed to accomplish all that we have in 11 years.
That's a very spiritual scenario, that whole thing with lettering on the clothing. And that's I never knew that. Bill, do you want to jump in? Did you prepare for this? Bill told me a day or two ago, he's like, Joe, I don't know a whole lot about this. I said, well, then you'll just learn, but Bill's pretty good at this. Bill, you want to ask any questions?
Well, yeah, my questions are more when we get into the actually what the program does. So I'll hold off until then. Yeah.
Well, then that's what we'll do. Let's jump in or let's get Bella in here. So Bella, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
How did you find out about the PeytonWalker? How did you end up going and getting a screening? Is that how it started for you?
Yeah. So I was at a swim meet, and after the swim meet, I remember my mom told me that I had like some appointment with a heart screening. And so after the swim meet, we went to, I think it was Steelton High School. And that's kind of like where it all started.
So Julie's message was getting out there somehow. That's what I'm getting out of that. If it went from somehow Julie's message went to your mom, and then your mom said, honey, you got to go get this your heart screen. So you went into Steelton High School. And what happened there? What was going on? Tell us about the screening.
Yeah. So I got checked in. Oh man, it was so long ago. So I got checked in. I went through all this stuff that they do. And then while you wait to hear from the doctors, you go through this like CPR and AED class. No, it's just CPR. It's just CPR. And so I was doing the class, and then we got called back to the doctors. And then they kind of like told us everything, and they broke it down. And then when they told me what I had, they told me that I had to go and get like more testing done in like a real like cardiologist place. And so then I followed up with that doctor after.
So you were how old then?
It was short. I was 15 at the time.
So it's important that one of the messages here tonight is that you can't be too young to possibly have issues with your heart. Right, Julie?
Well, yeah, and I'll ask Bella this. I don't know that I've asked you this before. Were you having any symptoms or did you feel anything abnormal in your heart? You swim and you're very, very active and very athletic. So were you feeling anything? Did you have any idea there was anything wrong with you?
So no, the only thing that I like now looking back on, I'm like, oh, maybe this was because of my heart condition. Is I every time I worked out, I'd always have like a really high heart rate. Like I could feel like even like with a really light exercise, I could feel my heart beating super, super fast. And like I'd always get super tired. And I know there's this picture of me when I was a baby, and just like around my lips, they're just blue. And I'm wondering if it's because I had like that circulation problem.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
they did.
Bella, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Julie.
Well, Bella, are you willing to share, like, so they, when you come into the heart screening, we do an electrocardiogram. So it's when they put the stickers on you, they check your electrical activity in your heart. So they did that test, and we also listen for heart murmurs. We check your vitals, we get your family history. So there was something in Bella's electrocardiogram that came back abnormal. So that triggered additional testing at the screening. And I don't know, Bella, do you feel comfortable sharing what happened outside of the screening, what you had to go do next? What all took place? Okay.
Yeah. So I had a lot more EKGs afterwards. And I also had to do this heart monitor. So after all that, I had to go in for surgery. And so in the surgery, they race your heart super fast to try to find it. And they found that mine was like on the left side of my heart. So that if he were to have to fix it, he'd have to pierce through my heart, like through the wall. And so he decided that since like it wasn't seeming to affect me, they were going to leave it. So now since I got all that done, every year I have to get like a 3-day heart monitor, which I'll actually be doing in I think like 2 weeks. And it's just this, it's really little, no wires, it's wireless. And then anytime I feel like my heart beating fast or chest pain, I push this little button on it. And then I have this book that I have to monitor every time I write it down. I write why I wrote it down, what time and what day.
So the two things I want to kind of impress upon everyone here, the viewers, is that Bella was 15. Bella was very physically active and in very good shape, good physical shape. You're a swimmer, Bella. I don't think we mentioned that yet. That's kind of up there near the very top when it comes to having to be in really good shape.
Yeah.
Boxing, there's like a few sports that kind of take the cake when it comes to, having to be in great shape. So you came into this, probably thinking nothing. You were just going to go in and do what your mom asked you to do, right?
I was like, why do I have to go to this?
I probably know the answer to this, but for those watching, talk about how painless that initial visit to Steel High was just to get the testing. Nothing painful, right?
Like it didn't hurt at all.
Okay. Right. Yeah. I want people to know that, when you go in there, there's no pain. And chances are you're probably going to leave with a different message that Bella got. But you want to be there to find out if the message is the same as Bella got. You don't want to not know about it. So, Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question for Bella. As you were describing it, you said that you referred to something as it was on your left side. What was the it?
Yeah. Okay. So my diagnosis is this thing called WPW. So it's Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. So basically, your heart, like the normal human heart, has 2 electric pathways that make it beat, and mine has 3. So that third one, if it's like a trouble, like it could set my heart off beat and rhythm, and it could send me into sudden cardiac arrest. But they found that mine was benign, so mine doesn't really affect it.
Okay.
Thank you. So Julie, let me bring you back in here. Can you please explain the difference, the distinction between what we're talking about here and kind of traditional heart disease or heart attack? I mean, because we just mentioned a couple of times, Bella was 15 and in otherwise or seemingly very good shape. Most of the time we hear about a heart attack, it's somebody up in years, they don't take care of themselves, they don't eat well, they might smoke, they might not exercise. Can you explain kind of in layman's terms or in the simplest terms the difference between the two, please?
Absolutely. So we had a great visual when we all saw Damar Hamlin go down on the NFL football field. He had a cardiac arrest. You saw how quick it was. There was no warning, instantaneously dropped over, non-responsive. When you're in cardiac arrest, you're basically dead. It's an electrical problem. So think of it like a power outage. Like you have a major power failure in your body. The heart is not pumping any blood. There's no circulation whatsoever. Like somebody just turned the light switch off, you're dead. Heart attack, completely different. It's a plumbing issue versus the electrical issue. So heart attack, you normally, think if you have the symptoms, you're sweating or chest pain, you may have the jaw pain or the arm, the pain down your arm. There's all these classic symptoms that people get. And normally you'll have time to get to the hospital. Like, I'm really not feeling well. We need to go to the emergency department.
Right.
Cardiac arrest, totally different. Like think again, that light switch is off in your heart. There's no power. You are absolutely dead the minute you have a cardiac arrest, and you only have a few minutes to bring that person back to life. Cardiac arrest, #1 killer of student athletes in our country. We lose about 23 to 25,000 kids. Hear me when I'm saying this, 23 to 25,000 kids a year. This is so grossly underreported, and we lose overall 420,000 cardiac arrests in the country every year, and less than 10% survive. So huge health issues really need to address and do a much better job.
Those numbers are alarming. Alarming.
Terrible.
Yes. Again, I'm going to say it again. I'll sound like a broken record here. Probably the overwhelming majority are children, kids that are otherwise very active, probably in very good physical shape, and you just wouldn't know that it was going to happen to that person, right?
Absolutely. Like, look at Bella. She's the poster child. Like, she's a high-performing athlete, looks healthy, passed all of her sports physicals, and had WPW, Wolff Parkinson White, which is one of the leading causes of sudden cardiac arrest, typically is undetected in kids because they don't get the electrocardiogram testing to find this. So that's why we advocate, please get your kids' hearts checked. You do not know electrically what's going on with them. You can't hear the electrical problem with a stethoscope, and that's all they get during their regular sports physicals. So I cannot implore you, parents, enough, get your kids' heart screened. Like Bella is the perfect example of, thank God everything worked out really well. There's always, one of the things Bella does, and I confirmed this with her mom, wherever she swims or has athletic events, they always make sure there's an AED or defibrillator where she's being active, because a defibrillator can help shock the heart and restart it to a normal rhythm. So now that they know she has this heart issue, they're very proactive, making sure that equipment is available.
Great segue. What is an AED?
So when someone's in cardiac arrest, it's really important to do CPR, and then you take an AED device. This is an example of one that we have. Anyone can use an AED. As soon as you start it or open it, it talks you through step by step exactly what to do. It will tell you place the pads on the patient's chest in 2 different locations, and then that will deliver a shock. Ideally, what it does is it kind of like shocks the heart, and the heart's like, whoa, we got to wake up and start beating in a normal rhythm again. So that shock hopefully will restart the heart. AEDs essentially help save a life when someone's in cardiac arrest. So it's really, really important. We have donated over 2,200 AEDs throughout central Pennsylvania. Truly, truly remarkable, the programs that we're doing.
I was going to ask it later, but it's a great time for this. For anybody who's watching, if you want to kind of get involved, how would they be able to donate a machine? Or if they can't afford the whole thing, maybe just a portion of the machine, how would they get in touch with you or the PeytonWalker Foundation to get involved that way, Julie?
A couple of different options, actually. Right now, so we have an ongoing AED donation program. We donate AEDs. We focus on youth. I mean, that's my goal, is to really support anything that involves youth. So you can apply for an AED on our website, PeytonWalker.org, and it's PEYTON, PeytonWalker.org. And we have a review committee review all the applications, so you can apply for an AED donation through that. These AEDs, we have, this is a really, really cool program. It's called the 4-Minute Community Program. These Avive AEDs. We have 300 we gave out in Cumberland County, and we're giving out 320 in Dauphin County. No cost for these AEDs. We are handing them out. They're connected to the 911 center. Such a cool initiative. I'm so proud of this. So when 911 gets a call and they suspect cardiac arrest, they have a software that will alert the AEDs within 1 mile of that cardiac arrest. So you get an alert on your AED, you get a text message alert, there's a cardiac arrest within 1 mile of you, gives you the address, and you can take this AED, get to there, and hopefully start CPR, use your AED before EMS ever arrives. So we're trying to create a community of response, get community members to respond to cardiac arrests. And like I said, every minute counts. So if we can get community members there before EMS, we can save lives. And we did have the first save in the country with this program last July in Upper Allen Township. So we have 2 locations, like I said, Dauphin and Cumberland County. There's 5 cities in the United States total that are doing this right now. And we have 2 of them right here in central Pennsylvania under the leadership of PeytonWalker Foundation. I am so proud of this initiative.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That's awesome. So tell us how a parent can get their child to a screening. How did Bella's mother find out that maybe Bella should go to Steel High to have a screening?
That's a great question, Bella. How did your mom find out about it? Do you know? She's there.
Hey, Mom, come here. You want to tell them?
You're allowed in, Mom.
Hello, Jill.
Here she is.
So our athletic director at Lower Dauphin, Kayla Kalina, had sent out an email to all of the coaching staff at Lower Dauphin. So when they went through the coaching staff then sent it out to all the athletes' parents that they had emails for. I lost my sister in 2012 from a cardiothoracic aneurysm, which is a little bit different, but still in that cardiac area. So I wanted to make sure that I had Bella screened just in case. And then it turned into all of this.
Mm-hmm. And did you pay for it? Let me ask you that. Was there any cost involved? No.
I think about 25 cents worth of gas to get there, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So we know now it was free and painless, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's no reason not to go get your heart checked. Thank you, Mom. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're glad that you got Bella to the screening.
Yeah, so we have our next heart screening is actually next Saturday, August 2nd. It's at McCaskey High School. Again, free of charge. Just jump out to our website. You can register. We do require pre-registration. We need paperwork filled out as well. So August 2nd in McCaskey High School. And then we're working on our fall heart screening schedule. So we probably will have 1 or 2 more this fall in the central Pennsylvania area. But, it's a huge undertaking. People always think, oh, well, just come to my gym and do a screening. I mean, we have 40 to 60 medical professionals that come, and then 60 plus non-medical volunteers who help. It's, Bella saw it's a huge undertaking. It's a big, big deal what we do. And I mean, we have, sometimes we have docs, world-class pediatric cardiologists come in from CHOP or other healthcare systems. So it is an enormous deal. Just because it's free does not mean it does not have a high value. You're dealing with really world-class pediatric doctors at this. It is an enormous opportunity, free of charge, and, can really bring you peace of mind.
So there's 2 different things you do, basically. They probably each fall under their own umbrella. You have day-to-day operations, correct, for the foundation. And then you have going out into the community and doing the way I met you, maybe standing on a 50-yard line or in the middle of a basketball court with thousands of people there. When did you start that? Like going in at halftime of a basketball game?
We've been so blessed. PIAA, our partnership began with them, I want to say in 2017. So they've invited us to be part of the Giant Center basketball playoffs every year. And what a great way to meet such a, huge audience and share our message. And I have to say, I was never comfortable public speaking or, I can't believe what I do now. I speak in front of thousands of people. Here I am on a podcast speaking.
That's what I was going to ask you about. How comfortable are you out there in the middle of that with all these thousands of people there? Go ahead.
Do I have a choice? I mean, that's what I say. Do I even have a choice? Like this morning, we had a big event where we donated an AED and an outdoor cabinet at Lower Allen Park. We had, a media call. I had to be there at 5 a.m. And I'm saying, Peyton, seriously, what did you get me into? So I'm up at 5 a.m. I'm out the door for you. You're welcome. So I like, just fake it till you make it. We just, 11 years, we just keep moving forward. We don't ask why, we don't ask how, we just figure out how to make stuff work, and just, we find ourselves in positions we never imagined being in. But the community response and support has been absolutely phenomenal. I cannot believe, again, the legacy that we have built in Peyton's name. We have saved so many lives. So many lives have been saved directly because of the work, either through like heart screenings like Bella, kids that we have found with issues that have had surgery to correct it. We've saved people because of the AEDs that we've donated. The AEDs have been used. People that learned CPR from us have used CPR to save people. So it is just like win after win after win. And that's what motivates us every day. 2 feet on the floor, get to work and do the hard work.
Wonderful. Bella, what is your role now? What do you do with the PeytonWalker Foundation?
I just kind of show up. So like I'll be there at the heart screening on the 2nd, and I'll actually have my heart monitor on while I'm there. So I think that's going to be kind of fun. Yeah, so I just show up. If I see something that Julie posts online, I repost it. I had my own heart screening at my high school. I told all my friends about it. I spoke at lunches. I tried to get as much publicity about that as I could. Yeah, so I just kind of promote all of this as much as I can.
You are, go ahead, Julie.
I was say you're a great spokesperson, isn't she? I mean, she's
man,
great story.
I was going to say to be Bella's age and to be, they call that of service. You're being of service. Out in the community, and there's a reason behind it, but that didn't mean that you had to necessarily keep going with this, and you have. And I tip my cap to you, and that excites me to see somebody your age out there helping people. That's usually set aside for the old folks like Bill and myself. Julie's not as old as us, but no, you're never too young. Anybody out there to start helping like Bella is. Bill, do you have anything you want to jump in here?
One thing I wanted to mention, I know in my life, I never got an EKG until about 6 years ago. I went to a health provider because of the medication they were giving me. They said they wanted me to get an EKG, and they found the right bundle branch block. I think it's something like that. And it didn't have any follow-up treatment, but that happened when I was 60 years old. So like you said, Julie, it's probably a big gap in terms of preventative care that doesn't get done. I'm 60 and that's the first one.
Right.
Probably never too young or never too old, right? To start getting things looked at, right, Julie?
Yeah, and we screen kids 10 to 22 years old. So that's kind of the age gap, the age group that we try to cover. And we would love to see electrocardiograms become the standard of care. We just feel like every kid deserves to have a baseline electrocardiogram. Let's just see what's going on. Again, they're painless, they're relatively inexpensive. And, just think of the lives that could be saved through a really simple, non-invasive, painless test.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that someday it will be the standard of care. In the meantime, we'll continue to do our free community heart screenings as much as we can. We work with all the healthcare systems in the area and to try to get this available for the entire community. And like Bella said, she was a great advocate in getting this coordinated at Lower Dauphin High School. We held this last year there at her school. A great success. And every screening we have, honestly, we have found kids with some kind of heart issue. So it's always a win for us. And she mentioned too, we teach every kid and their family how to do CPR, how to use an AED. So we take that opportunity to really make it an educational one as well.
Wonderful. Yeah. So we're going to kind of head down the home stretch here. Bill, did you have another question?
Yeah, I had another question. And this is more of a practical question. That seems to be the way I head sometimes. When I think about all these AEDs that are being handed out, I was at a concert venue in the area, and they had one in the back. And I think, think about preventative things. Like I have a fire extinguisher in my cabin, but I probably haven't looked at it for like 5 or 6 years. So I'm wondering with these AEDs, as part of the program or thinking, when these things are out there for a number of years, how do you maintain them so that if they are needed, they're ready to go?
Great question. So with this particular device, we get email notifications. It does a self-test every single day. So I know if your battery is low, if your pads are expired, I will get an email notification and we'll track you down and say, hey, you need to, this device particularly is rechargeable. You just plug it in and charge it. That's the only one that's like that. So this is a great device that self-monitors and sends the reports. Like I get it, the device owner gets it as well. But it is something, yes, typically AEDs, you have to replace the batteries every 4 years. You need to replace the pads every 2 years. So there is definitely some maintenance involved in it. There's companies that provide that service, but you can't just, stick it on a wall and forget about it for 10 years. You do need to check on it periodically to make sure the maintenance is up to date.
Like my church has one. Do you think that they have, would they have a similar service where they might be notified, or is there some scenarios where that just doesn't happen?
They probably need to just check it once a month. That's what we say. Just check it, make sure it's rescue ready. Some of them have like a green light indicator on it that you can see if it's green, it's good. If it's orange or red, it needs some attention. So it should be checked periodically by somebody for sure.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to have Bill kind of edit or snip this whole show so that we can provide you with just the portion that we've been talking about here, Julie. So you can use this out in the community somewhere. Because I think this has been great, like a fabulous half hour of like a great message here. Bill, you don't mind doing that too? I don't know how to do that, but I think
I'll figure it out.
Okay, yeah.
Or the other thing is, Julie, you could take a look at the show and maybe help me out to what sections, like timestamps that you would like, because I that may be helpful if you do that.
Okay, so we'll get that worked on so that if somebody wants to know what the message is. This has been the message, I think. Bella, what size T-shirt do you wear? One of our sponsors is Payor Apparel. They're a sportswear company, and they donate T-shirts to all of our student athlete guests.
Oh wow, I'm a small.
You're a small, okay.
Yeah,
we have a good big.
Oh yeah, I'm a small.
And then I guess the last thing before our closing thoughts here is on behalf of Linglestown Gazette Sports and This and That, the podcast, they're kind of like sister podcasts or sister companies now. We would like to make a $500 donation to the PeytonWalker Foundation.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, wow. We're in a position. I mean, you guys are wonderful. I mean, you guys are absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm just glad that. Thank you to our sponsors. That we're in a position to do this. Julie, I'll catch up with you. We'll email or text or something to get that information. And how about if we do this, Bella? We're going to put you on the spot just a little bit. Okay. You know what an elevator pitch is?
Yes.
Okay. Give us a 30-second, talk to, if there's 10 kids out there that are 14 to 18, whatever, tell them what they should do so that they make sure that they aren't in a position where they have a problem with their heart.
Okay, I got this. Okay, so first, go to PeytonWalker.org, sign up for the free heart screening. If you can't drive, get a ride. Like, it's 100% worth it. Just go. It takes maybe a half an hour out of your day. Probably not even. They're really fast. And then, you don't have to worry about it. You can have that peace of mind that, hey, I'm fine. I'll always be fine. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great
elevator pitch. And then, Julie, how about you? Let's get the Julie Walker elevator pitch about the PeytonWalker Foundation.
Well, as far as the heart screening is concerned, you can't see or predict sudden cardiac arrest. It can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. Every kid needs to be screened. This is a free heart screening. Drop everything. Get your kid to our event August 2nd or at one of our future events this fall. I've met too many parents whose kids passed all the sports physicals. They looked healthy, seemed healthy. I'm the walking, talking, example of that. My daughter, beautiful daughter, looked healthy, never expected this. So please take advantage of, the incredible relationships we have with world-class pediatric cardiologists. Come get your kids checked. Free, absolutely free of charge. And it will be worth your time. I can promise you.
Thank you, Julie. That's Julie Walker, PeytonWalker Foundation, and her buddy Bella. Bella, thank you very much.
Yeah,
you're a great guest,
for having
awesome
me.
guest. Julie, of course, you're always an awesome guest, and we just appreciate what you do, Julie. And I know that you appreciate the opportunity that you have to do it too. So you know, this is kind of one of those scenarios where everybody wins. If you get involved and you show up like Bella just said, and you know, you just kind of take that chance and say, this is only going to take a little bit of my time, and it might save your life. You know, the goal here is to save lives in the name of, I would say, PeytonWalker. You know, this is how Peyton would want it to be, I'm sure. And every day, Julie is doing that for her daughter. So we really, really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for giving us the platform to share the message. It's so, so important. And I just, you know, I hope one set of ears hears the message and takes advantage of the opportunity to get their kids screened.
That's it.
Yep.
All right. So Bella, I'm going to reach out to you I'll email you about getting the address to mail your shirt to. And Julie, I'll talk to you about the other thing that we just mentioned, the donation. All right.
Thank you so much,
Thank
gentlemen. Thanks, Bella.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah,
Julie
bye.
Walker, Bella Roding, not Redding, Roding. We appreciate you guys.